It's now my turn, Chris, to decipher the chicken scratch. Pete sent me the notes, and I was like, okay, I got some of this, but some of it is me deciphering a very difficult chalkboard equation.
Right. Yo, what up, homies? We're here. Chris Simms Unbuttoned. Chris Simms here. Connor Rogers. It's the Tuesday pod. Here we go. We pull off a doubleheader here for a little Tuesday, Wednesday action, man. But, yeah, I mean, deciphering the notes is – I feel like I'm not getting the credit sometimes I deserve for how good my handwriting is, just because I'm trying to rush a little bit as I'm doing things, too. I got a lot on my plate, so I'm trying to be quick with it a little bit more than – if I had time and life was a little slower, I think you go, man, Chris is really an artist.
I think that's fair. It feels like an install to me. Last week, my head was spinning, and I was like, honestly, I just can't decipher most of this. This week, especially last night, I was like, I'm actually like pretty good, like 75%, where I know exactly what we're going to get into. Right. I like the challenge.
Okay, good.
And I like that you're old school writing notes, because I think there's something – like the brain absorbs it.
That for sure.
That's it for you?
Yeah, definitely.
Right?
That's a big reason.
When I just write it in like an email box, it's gone immediately. But handwritten,
I don't know what it is. There's something about watching the word and seeing it, and then as the sentence goes, it sticks in your brain 100%.
And we got a lot to get through.
We got a lot of good stuff today.
Film review, Eagles-Rams, tale of two halves, the Browns defense making life hell for Jordan Love. That game was awesome. Caleb Williams, I just watched that game before our show. And my goodness, like watched it back. I mean, just the amount of space on the field was unbelievable. And with the arm talent that he has, it made it a ton of fun to watch. And
no question.
The Giants are going to start Jaxson Dart this week. So we'll close out breaking that move for Brian Dable and the Giants. But before we do any of it, Chris, we had an awesome Monday Night Football game. I think the Lions reminded everybody who they are in the 38-30 win over the Ravens, and the game wasn't even that close, honestly. They just put on an absolute show, led by their rushing attack with their two-headed monster.
Yeah, exactly right. I think if I had a baseline statement to make that to me was the hallmark of the game, where I was just like, wow, it is clearly that the Baltimore Ravens got bullied on their home field, like big time, and to the point to where I don't mean to say this in like a disrespectful way, but are they fake bullies, the Ravens, a little bit? I don't know. It's just every big game, it gets a little physical. I feel like, they don't quite answer the bell. I don't see them just put themselves out there in crazy physical ways like we've seen the Eagles be, or I've seen the Rams be, or I've seen the Chiefs be, or I saw the 49ers be every week, especially when they were a Super Bowl caliber team. There was a recklessness in how they played on both sides of the ball where you were just like, whoa, they're hitting. Like, they're bringing it. And I'm not trying to say the Ravens are soft. I'm not saying that at all, because I don't want to hear that. I know I'm going to hear this from Ravens fans in general, but I'm just going to say that I think it needs to maybe go up another level. Like, I can remember a lot of times in NFL history, and I'll take my dad, for instance. 1985, the year before they win the Super Bowl in 86, they played the Bears in the divisional playoff game. They really, it was a day, the Bears were a little sloppy. The Giants probably could have, in America's game, Bill Parcells is like, if we played them 10 times, we would have lost 9. But that day was one of the days we could have done it.
Right.
But I'll never forget my dad after that, and even in telling stories as I got older, they realized, the Giants, that they weren't quite as crazy physical as they needed to be a Super Bowl team, right? And that went into the next year, and then, of course, they got over the hump and win the Super Bowl. But I think there's a little bit of that with me, the Ravens, and I think they've got a lesson there last night to go, hey, you're tough and you're physical, but you're not there with the Detroit Lions, who really dominated the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball pretty much the whole game.
And that's the problem, is both sides, where you can't look at it and go, okay, Matabike and Kyle Van Noy were inactive. Like, yes, those are big losses, but that can't be the bottom falling out because of that.
Not.
And it felt like that. I mean, listen to this from Next Gen Stats just to show how flawless of a game it was for the Lions. They didn't turn the ball over. They allowed 0 sacks. Their offensive line, especially, we know the strength with the tackles. I thought the interior was phenomenal.
They got
with the young guards.
They got it fixed, right? I mean, with the question we had about going in the year, week 1 wasn't special. Week 2, a lot better. Week 3, it's like, oh, wow, the Lions are back. Here we go.
Right. Allowed 0 sacks. They made the optimal decision on every fourth down per Next Gen Stats, which Dan Campbell, typically, that's kind of how he rolls. They only missed 4 tackles on defense. The Ravens turned the ball over, another one on downs. They allowed 7 sacks, which you never see with Lamar Jackson.
Never.
I feel like every
shocking.
time he escaped, there was a
was
help
somebody
defender,
there.
which is the difference with the mobile quarterbacks. You need the help defender there, and there was always there.
Definitely.
Barnes made a couple of those,
Right.
And they missed 20 tackles.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the physicality aspect. Like, missing 20 tackles is insane.
I think so. You know, and again, you know, the thing that I looked at a lot of the replays in the run game, the thing I like the Lions did is they were just like, let's come off the ball, double team straight ahead, and just push them, and that let Gibbs and Montgomery kind of just find the hole, but no guessing with some of the creative fronts the Ravens do and all that. Let's just make it simple and fly off the ball, kind of give our team a physical element to the team right away, and I found that to be successful throughout the night. I mean, yeah, they put, 200 yards of 224 yards of running against the Ravens. I mean, that just says it all.
On the road.
I don't know what else you can say. Kyle and Van Noy and Madubuike, I guess, are very good players. Madubuike, of course, has more to do with the run, but still, it doesn't mean he was going to be there to stop all 224 yards of that running, and certainly not. So that's an issue. I look at them right now and just, you know, with the defense they had out there last night, the big D tackle, Travis Jones, he was the only guy that stuck out to me.
And they doubled him.
It doubled him. Exactly right. And sometimes he fought through those doubles, and you're like, good play. But it was like, no, everybody else is getting their ass kicked, so it doesn't matter. The running back's just like, I won't run towards him, and I'll run to the other hole. But he was the only guy that popped to me on a consistent basis. You saw the linebackers had problems getting off the blocks with linemen all over them. We didn't really say any of the safeties' names for the Ravens.
No.
Hamilton wasn't a big part of the stopping the run or making plays that way. And then here's the last thing just with the Ravens defense that pops to me is, can they play man-to-man? I don't know. I mean, they can do it to a degree, but they don't seem great at it right now. And it's either a penalty or a big play. But I found that more times than not, when I see replays and watch them on film, they're playing zones. And you're playing zones, okay, that's good. But within those zones, like you saw last night, they can't get there with their front four. That's still an issue. Right. So if you can't get there with the front four, though, then you got to be able to take away lanes in the pass game and make that work. On the flip side of that, early on in the game, you said the 7 sacks by the Detroit Lions. Yeah. Okay, a lot of those were covered sacks.
Right.
I mean, he had plenty of time. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, they're getting all over him. It was like, no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I drop back. I take a hitch. Oh, nothing's still open. Let me dance around a little bit. Now let me try to escape the pocket, like you said. And oh no, there's somebody there, and I can't make that happen. Right. So they were rushing forward, but not where I was like, oh man. Early in the game, I wrote a note down. I went, neither one of these teams are very good in the pass rush. They can't really get there or get home. But at least the Lions seem to be covering everybody up on the back end where Lamar didn't know where to go with the ball. And that wasn't the case on the other side of the ball where Goff had time too, but he was just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, boom, rhythm, wide open, boom, rhythm, wide open. He played really well. They were clearly the better team on the field last night.
Yeah, the Ravens, by the way, they had a 45.2% pass blitz rate. That was top 10 for the week. So they know they can't get home with the front four.
They can't get home, right.
They basically were playing cover 0, cover 1, or they'd throw some cover 3 out there, and like that's it.
That's it, and that's scary to do because John Morton seems like he's on a groove as far as an offensive coordinator, play caller right now there for the Lions. And then if you got a blitz like that, and again, I'm just not so sure they're the type of team, and maybe they can be when Jair Alexander gets back to lock you down in those situations. But when you're a creative offense and we can pick up the blitz and we have all answers for, even though if you outnumber us, we got an answer downfield, and they did throughout the night. Aikman and Buck showed it where, like you said, it's all out blitz. Okay, maybe one guy's free, but they put a route combination together where it's like it doesn't matter. The ball's out so quick that one guy free doesn't matter. He doesn't get home. I'm very impressed by the Detroit Lions last night. I mean, that was to me a statement game to be like, whoo, the Lions are real. Like real, maybe more than I thought they were, and watch out the rest of the NFL.
They've been furious since week 1.
Yeah.
Like they're kind of taking it out on everyone that's in front of them now. Something I know you loved this week that we got to see last night and we saw on Sunday as well. is attacking deep on 4th and short.
Oh, I love that.
When you establish the run the way they do and the team commits to the run, we got to see in the fourth quarter, 1:56 left. It was right after that 2-minute warning. 4th and 2, Detroit 49. They're going for it, and you knew the Lions were going. Everybody in the state knew they're going.
Yeah, they're going to put them. They want to put them away. They don't want to let Lamar Jackson have one more shot.
No, why would you?
Or they weren't going to make this mistake Baltimore made with like a Josh Allen.
Yes.
They were like, we're going to close this out right now. We've already seen he's crazy. We're not going to deal with that. We're going to end it on the offensive side of the ball.
And a whole night of Baltimore not being able to stop the run led to then it opened up down the field to Amon-Ra St. Brown. It was a perfect throw, too.
Perfect throw. Perfect throw. Egregious pass interference. I mean, if he doesn't hold him as he runs by, and again, that's the tough thing there because they're getting beat up in the run game. Marlon Humphrey there is playing man-to-man, but also has run game responsibilities, and that's the hard thing when you get into too much man-to-man and doing that type of stuff, and it's closed-in splits. Sometimes these DBs are like, wait, I'm told I got to get the D-gap or the outside edge here, so I'm aware of that. And you're seeing run, it's successful, you take that step to go, wait, I got to help out in run defense. Oh, no, they're not doing it here. And, I mean, it's probably going to be a touchdown if he doesn't hold them going by. I mean, it's a lot of room. But either way, the gutsy play call, incredible play design to kind of know exactly what they're getting. I mean, the play callers on both sides of the ball for the Detroit Lions last night seemed to step ahead for anything the Ravens had. And, yeah, I just don't think the Ravens were nearly the physically intense, emotional, just lay it out on the line. I give zero about my body team. The Lions were that team, and I think it really showed throughout the game.
And to add on to more surprises from the Ravens, I mean, there's no way to not discuss Derrick Henry fumbling the ball again, because this is unlike something we've seen with him. For context, 3 fumbles on 43 touches this season. He has 3 fumbles on 652 touches the previous 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And also, it's not that I don't want to say he doesn't look like the same guy, but the run game doesn't look like the Baltimore Ravens run game.
No, they're not.
It's not just the fumbling.
Right.
Like the yards per carry and the constant moving forward with the run game. Well, it just hasn't been there.
The Lions are big up front, right? That's the one thing.
That's how they draft.
And I think the Lions have an advantage over most teams that play the Ravens or an Eagles because they're not going to get overpowered there. They're going to be able to hold their ground. And unlike where we just talked about the Ravens on defense, I don't think they have enough big people, especially when they're moving a Matabuke, right, when they're losing him and he's not there. But the Lions, on the other hand, I mean, first off, their 2 D tackles just alone, the ones that are starting right now, it's 700 pounds. I mean, it's DJ Reader who's dieting to be 335, and Tyleek Williams from Ohio State, who, guess what, is dieting to be 335, right? So that right there is a huge advantage for them. And then they got some pretty good defensive ends who are big and physical, and they can even add to that group with other guys on their defensive line to be big, to get 3D tackles in the game as well. And then you got a Derek Barnes who's kind of a thumper, right, at the second level. Alex Anzalone's a great athlete and a compliment to him off of that. So, yeah, they got a little bit of everything. The only thing you worry about with the Lions is what we saw last night. When they have to play too much man-to-man, there's a little of an issue. Terrion Arnold is not made for that, as we know.
He didn't look comfortable.
No, he's not that. But when they play their intricate zones and do stuff like that, that's when it seemed like Lamar and company had issues. And, he was holding the ball a little bit. And it seemed like it was a successful thing for the Detroit Lions on that side of the ball.
Statement win for the Lions. And the other side of this, week 4, the Ravens are at Kansas City. Both teams are 1-2, which means somehow, after 4 games,
it's incredible,
one of the Ravens or the Chiefs are going to be 1-3.
Yeah, that's I never would have guessed that.
I'm confident that both can dig out of it. That's not how I look at it,
right.
But just seeing it on paper is like, damn, it's time to put the foot on the gas at some point.
I'm confident that the Ravens can.
Chiefs maybe not.
The Chiefs, I'm not confident. I mean, it's like dig it out, but it's going to be a long dig, and they might only get 10
wins?
Like most of their body out of the dirt.
Right.
Like they're still going to have their ankles and knees in there trying to dig out. I mean, I don't see any silver lining for the Chiefs right now. I don't look at anything on either side of the ball to go, ooh, that's close. I think it can get better. The Ravens, there are some things I can see there, right? I mean, Derrick Henry fumbling, I think that'll stop. I don't think there's a lot of teams that are going to be able to stop this offense in general. They blew week 1, and that hurts them because they're 1-2 here for sure. But I've also seen the Ravens last year make the right adjustments on the defensive side of the ball, and I still think the personnel's okay to where at the end of the year last year, they became one of the better defenses in football. And I still think there's pieces there and potential there for that to happen. So, yeah, I look at the Ravens having a little bit more of a room or area to improve than maybe the Kansas City Chiefs right now.
The Ravens now 1-2, but the markets still believe in them as we look at the AFC North odds courtesy of DraftKings here. They're still heavily favored at -370. They are the only division favorite right now who isn't currently leading their division. They have the third best odds of any team to win their division. Obviously, the Bills are -2,000 and the Bucks are -425. The Bengals, obviously, without Joe Burrow. Steelers, yeah, they're 2-1, but it's been a little bit of an uninspiring 2 wins where
Definitely.
Vegas doesn't believe in them. And then the Browns with a big hill to climb. We're going to talk a lot about the Browns. Some reasons for optimism. DraftKings Sportsbook is an official sports betting partner of the NFL. New customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly, and $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube TV.
Just download the Sportsbook app and use promo code UNBUTTONED when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook.
The crown is yours. We're going to take a quick break. When we're back, looking at the Eagles' defense and how they turned it around in the second half against the Rams. The film review is up next. We were lied to, Chris. These are the AFC North odds. The Steelers are +475. You were like, there's no way the Bengals are the runner-up.
I mean, good thing we caught this because I literally, when we went to commercial break, I was like, wait, I wanted to say one more thing about that odds because I was going to go, if the Steelers are +1,500 and you got extra money, put it on that.
Big
but
number.
we were a little mixed up there. We'll blame Pete them a little Demolitis on that one, okay? All right? Yep, personal foul, Pete Demolitis. But even with this, I still would go, if you have extra change, yeah, I expect the Ravens to win this division, but the Steelers is not a bad bet. A little bit like, I do believe the Steelers are get their defense figured out a little bit. I do. And I think, again, Aaron Rodgers and their offense, at least they're making some plays there. So, I mean, I see a way. That's all I'm going to say. If
Derek
you got
Harmon's
extra
back.
money there, too.
Yeah.
And one last thing, too, on the Ravens that one more thing. I wish I just would have said this. In the late third quarter, fourth quarter, and you said it, he goes, Aiden Hutchinson was on the screen a whole lot. And it was like, yes. I felt like the Lions D figured out the Ravens pass protection scheme. And it was like, dangle a guy here, and they'll send everybody over there, and we'll blitz on the other side. Stuff like that. To where they were like, we know how they're protecting here.
Right.
And they exposed it. And that got some people free later on in the football game. I just want to hit that point one last time. So.
Yeah, once the Ravens went into like a really heavy throw script.
Yeah, they've got bold, Detroit.
Oh, completely.
Yeah.
Every time Lamar had to make someone miss,
Right.
and as we said, he made the first guy miss, but the second guy was always there over and over again. All right, film review time, and this is an absolute heater right here. The Rams and Eagles was just a total tale of two halves here, Chris. I mean, it felt like for a long time, wow, the Eagles are maybe shell-shocked
Right.
when you looked at the first half,
Right.
and then they made every adjustment they needed to in the second half. Let's start with the first half, though. What did the Rams do so well where they capitalized against the Eagles before it flipped?
I think the best thing they did in the first half of that football game was running the football. That I think was maybe the shock. It felt like early first half of the game, the Eagles were like, we're not going to let you hit big throws down the field to Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua, right? We were going to be worried about that. And within that, too, they played, deep safeties at times. Like their chances they took in the first half were like, hey, we'll leave Quinyon man-to-man on Devontae Adams, and then we'll play zone against everybody else. That's about as risky as it got. They would play some five-man fronts in the first half, too. But even within that, they weren't like really five-man fronts. They were like, hey, we're playing a five-man front. Check to your pass, and one of our guys is going to drop out of there because that's what we think you're going to do. But the Rams stayed patient with it. And I think that was the thing to me that was the biggest difference between the first half and the second half. Now, saying in that, right, the problem with the first half was the Rams couldn't get a touchdown. They could not get a touchdown, right? They had the one touchdown, which was not in the red zone. They took a shot down the field where the Eagles were kind of playing. It's hard to tell what they were playing. It was like cover 2, but the linebackers played like cover 4. And if anybody watched that game, what it ultimately ended up being was Devontae Adams one-on-one with Blankenship down the field, which is, advantage Rams in that one. But I don't know what exactly game plan-wise they were trying to do there, Philadelphia. Regardless, Vic Fangio and company are doing some different stuff on the defensive side of the ball, and we're going to get into that. But the big thing, too, I think, was taking away the big plays. Okay, the Rams stayed patient with the run game. That all worked. The Rams ran for 160 yards in the game, but they ran for 115 of them in the first half. So that says a little something right there. But the problem was once they got inside the 15, what happens? There's not going to be two deep safeties. You're at the 9-yard line, the 8-yard line. They're not playing too deep. And if they are playing too deep, they're not that far off to where they can get down involved, right? So the run game disappeared in those moments. And so that didn't happen. And then here's the double whammy of why the game should have been more than 19-7.5. Matt Stafford missed some throws. Matt Stafford missed maybe more throws and some things that I've seen him miss really in quite some time. And because of that, that, of course, kept the Eagles in the game where you go, well, the Eagles were dominated a little bit, not in control of the game, but they went in at halftime going, okay, they blew their opportunities to kind of blow us out here. We're only down 12, and they hung in, and as we know, they slowly caught fire as the game went on.
Yeah, it definitely it completely flipped in the second half. What did the Eagles' offense figure out in the second half? Because this is the first time all year we've seen them forced to throw.
Yeah.
Like, we were like, been weeks, we've been like, where's A.J. Brown? Where's Devontae Smith? And finally it was like, well, you have no choice now because you got to get back in this
I don't think it's a huge this one's not any different than what I said Sunday night with McCourty. It was the Rams, like vice versa of the Eagles on that side of the ball. The Rams were like, no way are we going to let Saquon Barkley in and run the football. And the Eagles were a little too careful early on in the football game and trying to get the run game going, a little too conservative in the pass game. The big thing was in the second half, they just went, we're going to attack. And the one thing we know we got right now, they're doing a lot of cool zones, the Rams and stuff like that. But when it comes down to it, zone or man, we're basically getting like man-to-man on the outside. So let's just start taking some shots with our Jimmies and our Joes are better than their Jimmies and their Joes in that element. And that's really what I look at more than anything. It wasn't like a schematical huge change as far as like, oh, they cracked the code, they figured it out. No, they played the lost art of our guy's better than your guy out there, and our guy at quarterback here, he's going to put the ball on the money to where AJ can get it, even though it might be some tight coverages. He's big, he can box out these guys, and he can just manhandle them, and that's what I think we saw more than anything in the second half.
And the Rams threw everything at them in the second half. Listen to this. They ran cover 0 4 times. They ran cover 1 7 times. They ran cover 2 10 times. Cover 3 11 times. And quarter 7 times. They basically did the same. They did everything almost an even split.
Yeah, what was in like the first half? How was the?
I'll break it down for you right now.
It certainly seemed like it still was a lot of single safety, whether it was man or blitz zone or blitz man, whatever else. But
cover 0 3 times and cover 1 only once.
Right.
And then they did run cover 3 7 times and quarters 5 times.
Yeah. Okay.
So they actually got more aggressive
in the second half.
And it worked against them.
Yeah.
I'll actually pull up what Jalen Hurts did against man coverage.
Even with what they did in the first half there, like you talked about, though, all those basically add up to you're still getting us man-to-man on the outside.
Yes.
Right? And I think that's where they just simplified it for Hurts in the offense. It's just like, hey, they're doing all this crazy shit, but at the end of the day, Devontae and AJ are one-on-one on the outside. Whether it's zone or man, it doesn't really matter. And let's start to attack that. And they put some pressure on the Rams doing that as well.
Yeah, it was definitely a good sign for AJ Brown. You could see how happy he was after the game. He was saying that he feels like they should always be that aggressive.
Well, I would agree with that to a degree. They're a little bit of like, hey, let's feel it out. Let's be conservative early. And I think they could do themselves some favors by attacking a little bit more early on in the football game. Maybe have a few more game plan shots to start the game in your pocket for the first quarter, just to back everybody off on your stuff, back everybody off on the run game, back everybody off on the short passing game a little bit, just so now, okay, when A.J. Brown does run the slant or the 6-yard under route, they're not like, hey, they haven't attacked us deep yet, so we're going to just keep sitting on stuff and driving downhill. I think that's certainly something I can look at. The Eagles aren't going to reinvent themselves. They're frustrating that way. That's the way it's going to be sometimes. But the one thing they can do is, I think be a more aggressive from that standpoint. The other thing, too, I'll just say this, and I want to dive back in this. Where do you want to stay? You want to stay on the Rams O or the Rams D here a little bit?
I kind of want to just dissect what went wrong in the red zone. Like why the Rams, it felt like, could have been up, like you said, by 3 to 4 possessions at the half, and instead the not capitalizing the red area over and over again kind of caught them at the end of the game.
Yeah, so, I mean, we got quarter 2, 10 minutes, 12 seconds left. There's a 1st and 6. All right, they're down there. All right, and I believe at that point it is 10-7. This is 13-7. I believe we're at this point here. All right, and within this, I mean, they're loading the box, the Eagles to stop. They got Devontae Adams on the backside on a slant. He's wide open. Matthew Stafford sails it over his head. Then the next drive down there, all right, on that drive there, they run it in for the touchdown, if you remember.
There was a hold, right?
And there was a hold. Yeah. And it's a tough one. Watching it on TV, I said, that's a pancake block. Watching it on film, he kind of pancakes him, but for whatever reason, he grabs his leg as he's doing it to like almost lift him up, and that made it look like it was a hold. He didn't need to do it, the center for the Rams. He didn't need to do it. His body was on the body. The guy wasn't going to be able to make the tackle. That was a bad moment for them because, that was one where it gets called back and they don't capitalize there and, of course, have to kick the field goal. All right, here's another element that
Before you go there, I want to ask you one thing.
Right.
Do you think sometimes offensive linemen get punished in this league for finishing blocks?
Yes.
Like, that's a scenario where it looked so bad for the defender that the ref threw the flag. Like you said, you didn't need to grab the leg. I've seen a lot of this year where a guy finishes someone to the ground and the ref sees the defender kind of throw his arms up and he's like, okay.
Right.
Where if you just sustain your block, and you can never coach a guy that way to say, just sustain the block, don't finish it. That's ridiculous. But I feel like refs punish guys more for finishing blocks to the ground.
I agree. I don't think they even see it clearly sometimes.
Right.
I think they just see him on the ground.
The end result.
He must have got held there.
Yes.
There's no way that could have happened. You know what else it happens on? Like pass rush, guy bull pass rushes, and the offensive lineman kind of just puts his hands on his shoulder and was like, wait, you want to come in that hard? I'm just going to push you to the ground.
Right.
You're leaning too much. And then he falls on him, and they go, oh, that must have been holding. And it's like, he didn't do anything. He just hit his shoulders and pushed him down because he was about to go down anyways.
Right.
And they call that. So there's a little too much of that. And I hear that all the time, that the NFL, hey, make sure you tell the refs, you got to see it. Don't just think you saw what you saw. But yes, it's something that goes on in the NFL way too much. Now, off of that, so they don't capitalize there. Now, later on in the half, here we are. It's quarter 2, 3:49 in the second quarter. Just to hit on this moment here a little bit, where they, again, are going to settle for a field goal. They have a 3rd and 3. He misses the out route to Devontae Adams, which one I go, man, Matthew Stafford usually hits that. It was tight coverage. Quinyon Mitchell was in Devontae Adams' stuff on Sunday.
Yeah.
Like when they went man-to-man or anything like it, number 27 covered number 17.
Not Puka.
No. And number 27 won the battle against number 17. I mean, number 17's only big catch all day was the one against Blankenship that we talked about for the touchdown. Everything else was like, he got a 12-yard curl route, I believe, on Quinyon Mitchell, and it was like, whoa, he was all over him. So that was an issue there. Yeah, they decided more times than not to go, let's kick coverage to Puka Nacua, right? Where we don't need to guard him man-to-man, and let's play man-to-man with Quinyon and play zone all over there. But within that moment there, okay, it's an out route where I go, yeah, he makes that throw more times than not, all right? And he probably was on the wrong read. It was kind of like a split safety defense. He has the tight end down the middle of the field for a touchdown, and he missed that. So that was another one there. And then he missed a throw with 18 seconds left on a 3rd and 2 with a shallow crosser or a crossing route that was wide open. And I don't know if that's going to be a touchdown, but it's going to be a big play that's going to make either way the field goal even more of a chip shot. But I would argue if he throws this ball on the money, it's like, ooh, the guy trailing Puka that's got to tackle him. If he doesn't make the tackle, Puka's going to score a touchdown. So there was some missed opportunities. Stafford did not throw the ball or see the field as good as I've seen him as usual, right? But I think part of this is the Eagles and Fangio are changing things up on the NFL. They changed it up against the Chiefs, and I think they changed it up as far as what the Rams expected they were going to get for most of this game as well.
Fangio, typically one of the front leaders for a lot of cover 6 and cover 8, and it feels like right now, Chris, you're kind of seeing a little bit of everything.
It is. I mean, I'm seeing
surprised.
Definitely. I mean, you're seeing a little more blitz, a little bit more man-to-man.
Right.
I think it feels like a little bit more 5-man fronts, and I feel like, you know, for the first time in a while, whether it was Fangio in Miami or these 2 years in Philadelphia, he's doing some stuff where he's like, hey, Quinyon Mitchell can play man-to-man, so let him play man, and we'll kick the other 6 guys in coverage to cover all the other receivers. And we're seeing that too, and I think teams are, kind of trying to figure it out and adjust on the fly here a little bit.
Of course, the exclamation point on this game was the block kick followed by the big man returning it all the way back to the house.
Yeah.
What a wild day of block kicks. Let's go to the next one, though, in the NFC here. The Bears offense just exploded against the Cowboys. This was a game that there was always a lot of points expected on both sides. But, Chris, I think what everybody's wondering, is this Caleb Williams taking a leap? Or is the Cowboys defense really as awful as they've looked now for a couple weeks?
Well, I think they are awful. They are. I don't think there's any doubt or question about that.
Is it talent, scheme, or the perfect storm of both right now?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
I think that they're, with no Deron Bland, Trayvon Diggs isn't very good right now.
Yeah.
They can't really rush the passer, so now they're like, oh, shit. We gotta find ways to maybe blitz and be creative that way. We don't have enough big people still, in my opinion. I don't care if you got Kenny Clark or not. They're worried about the run game. They are. So that's an issue as well. And Ben Johnson was dialing it up. So you got that aspect. And then I think the other aspect, and this is why I think it was a great game. And I said, like, to me, the story of the week is the Bears, because I don't think anybody was under more pressure than them. And Caleb Williams has been playing better. It's been better. He's learning a new offense. Things are different there. So I think it was all of it. But that was the most comfortable I saw him. And then, of course, what helps is some people open early in the game to kind of get you going, the confidence get you going that way. I like the Bears offense. I know it's not hitting on all cylinders yet, but I love the scheme. And I like the talent and players they have. I think they're going to be a real pain in the ass going forward here.
It felt like there was a lot of space in this game created by Ben Johnson.
Definitely.
And with Caleb Williams' arm, the difference when you have that kind of space is there was no part of the field that was off limits.
No, I think we're seeing a lot of teams in football right now. I've talked about this with the Buccaneers a little bit and a few other teams. The Green Bay Packers are this way, even though it was tough sledding this week against an awesome Browns defense, where they are like, it's when they drop back to pass, it's we're going downfield, and then it's runs and screens is the other part of the offense. And when you have a quarterback like a Jordan Love or a Baker Mayfield or a Caleb Williams, it's just tremendous stress on a defense, because you go, well, they can hit 25 and 30-yard throws like it's nothing. So we got to worry about that. But then if we drop back too far and stop that, oh no, they run the ball pretty good. And I don't think the Bears are hitting on all cylinders in the run game yet. They're getting close. There were some runs in the game where I went, ooh, man, shoestring, watch out. Oh, they're close. But on the other side of that too is they have a great screen game to the running back and the wide receivers. So that to me is a deadly combination. And I think Caleb Williams is getting very comfortable within the offense. I mean, the way they're playing the 2 tight end sets on the regular, right? You can tell they want to do it. Cole Kmet, Colston Loveland, they're going to be in the game. They're part of the game plan. And then when you get into DJ Moore Jr., which is Luther Burden III, that's who he is. I mean, he's going to be his replacement when the contract runs out. And Odunze, and then Zacchaeus, right? You go, damn, there's some good players on that Bears offense, and they're feeling it a little bit right now.
I know everybody right now is talking about how Dallas just doesn't run any man coverage at all.
Yeah.
But when you look at the 3 pass attempts Caleb Williams had against man coverage, because Dallas barely does it. This was against either cover 0, cover 1, or cover 2 man.
Right.
He was 3 for 3 for 82 yards.
Yeah.
So my take is, Chris, Dallas knows they can't play man coverage. That's my take on it. Like, there's a clear reason why they just don't do it, because they're dying out there the sliver that you actually see it.
Yeah, I think so. And you know, what I think people see too sometimes when they saw some of those downfield throws with Russell Wilson last week, it wasn't man-to-man there either. It's a zone. It's a 3-deep zone, or a zone that ends up kind of playing like man-to-man on the outside, like we just talked about in the Eagles-Rams game. Right, but yeah, they can't play man-to-man. Trayvon Diggs played man-to-man on the first touchdown of the football game. He tried to jam Rome Odunze. Rome was like, see you later, you missed me. And then Trayvon, who tried to obliterate him at the line of scrimmage, lost his balance, slipped a little bit, and it was as easy a touchdown as you're going to get. But here, like, versus the here's the Cowboys, small up front, don't have a good pass rush. The Bears have to blitz and have a spy on Caleb too. So they're blitzing with a spy. So that means there's 6 people there just for that. Whether you're playing zone or man on the back end, there's going to be holes in that, right? And that's the issue there. And then, of course, the Bears' weapons against the Cowboys' DBs is just not a good advantage or a good thing for the Dallas DBs right now and what they got in the back end.
How about this note in the notebook? Yeah. Number 18 is so fast, I just can't get over it. I mean, it's up there close to Lamar, Kyler, Jaden, and I think he and Josh Allen have the strongest arms in the NFL.
Listen, I don't write stuff like this. I'm not writing to joke or be funny or whatever. Caleb Williams, when he takes off and turns it on, it is eye-popping. He had a play in the first quarter where he broke the pocket. I think holding ended up being called. He got out of the pocket. He ran to the sideline. The linebacker had the angle. He turned up the sideline and was going to outrun him. And he kind of tripped and fell on his own feet and ended up like falling out of bounds. But he has moments, and you might be looking at the play right here. This I think is it. He's going to go to the right here, right? And I can't remember the linebacker there. It's 57, I believe, right, on Dallas, if I remember right. But you could see he's turning the corner on him. And, yeah, I'm amazed by his speed. His speed, his body control. Jason Garrett said it to me last year. It was Jack Sanborn, right? Jason Garrett, to me, said it in Caleb Williams' senior year at USC. He goes, man, this dude, the way he moves and runs, it's like a third down running back. I mean, he can kind of like run as fast as he has to run. He can kind of be like, hey, I'm going to run. I'm going to control. I can make cuts. And then when he sees a little seam or an alley, he can really turn it on. To an extent, maybe I didn't quite give him the credit for it, right? But, like, I'm not joking you in that if those 4 raced, Caleb's right in the race with Jaden Daniels, Lamar Jackson, and Kyler Williams. Now, he wants to maybe play in the pocket and make throws maybe more than they do, but, I mean, I'm impressed when he turns it up the field and runs the ball. And then Connor, his arm, it's wowing. You know what I think of Josh Allen's arm. You know what I think of Aaron Rodgers in his prime, Brett Favre. I'm telling you, Caleb Williams' arm is in that category. I'm not so sure it's when he lays into the ball, and I really cannot believe I'm saying this. I think when he goes, wait, I want to throw my fastball, I think he might be able to throw the ball harder than Josh Allen. And I don't know if I ever thought I'd be ever saying that anytime here in recent future history, down the road, whatever. So that to me is just an incredible skill set he's got going right now. He's a fun player to watch, and I think he's going to be a superstar. I don't get it messed up. Don't worry about his painted fingernails and his pink phone, because I think that's a lot of the haters coming at him. Is people just not comfortable. It's people that are squares in the NFL who didn't like that he's got a little different way about him, and I think that's led to some hate for Caleb Williams.
To your arm strength point, the flea flicker throw where the rush was coming. So he really didn't like put everything into it. He threw it in the air, the 20 to the other 20. And it was going
with no laces, it looks
outside
like.
the numbers.
Right.
Yeah, and the pop-up on the flea flicker, he really doesn't get a normal grip on the ball. And he goes 20 to 20 in
He
the air.
does it easy.
It was nothing to it.
I mean, the field goal, their drive in this first half where they settled for a field goal, the 30-yard field goal, he threw a ball so hard to Rome Odunze, who was in the end zone about 1 yard deep in the end zone. He didn't throw a perfect spiral, and this is why spirals are important. He threw it so hard, I'm telling you, Rome Odunze was like, holy crap, and it bounced off his hand. It would have been another touchdown, but they settled for a field goal there. But, yeah, I was blown away by how they looked, how the Cowboys looked, and I know we got to keep judging the Bears as we go forward, but I think it certainly was a good start for everything they want to do on that side of the ball in Chicago.
Couple notes schematically for the Bears. Next-gen stats is a little Ben Johnson effect. Right. Caleb Williams has more than doubled the percentage of passes that have been thrown to open targets 10-plus yards down the field this season, 19.4% compared to his rookie season, 8.7%.
Right.
He's now completed a pass to 8 different receivers in 2 of 3 games this season after he didn't do that in a single game last year. And then one personnel note, Chicago is using 2 tight end sets on 44% of their plays. That is 3rd in the NFL. Not shocking behind the Steelers and the Browns because the Browns play Harold Fannin as like a big receiver.
It was awesome.
The Steelers always throw a million tight ends on the field with Arthur Smith. Right. So they are playing a much heavier brand of football.
I think that'll continue. I mean, Ben Johnson's not going to give up on the run game and being physical. He knows that adds to them getting wide open down the field somehow, some way. He's the master of play action pass. Plus, Cole Kmet and Colson Loveland are freaking really awesome. I mean, awesome. I got no problem saying I think that's the best tight end duo in football. I'm just going to put it out there without much thought because they both can block and they both can get in the pass game. Like, they both can legitimately block and move people out of the way. They're a force. That O-line's not clicking like it was in Detroit, right? And they're maybe not as talented as Ben Johnson's O-line in Detroit. But like I said before, it's getting close. And I'll tell you what, the other thing, too. They're pass protecting really well. Caleb's movement and patience in the pocket is very impressive. I mean, he doesn't run until it's like, oh, gosh, I have to run. I have no other chance other than to do that. And the other thing, too, is just watch out because he still missed a few reads and missed a few throws in the game, even with all this amazement we're talking about and the wowness of it and some of the unreal throws he made. He still missed a few where I went, in 3 weeks, he's not going to miss that read and he will not miss that throw. And that 298-yard game that he had on Sunday is going to be 402 yards. That's what it's going to be. So watch out. I'm pumped for them, and I'm glad they got off the schneid there. Good reaction by the Bears locker room, too, after the game. You could tell they liked Ben Johnson in that reaction, right? And I think that's encouraging.
Especially like after a week at the podium where he was like, we got to do things differently. Exactly. It felt like stress started to build a little bit. Now everybody's got a deep breath.
He took it on the chin the right way with the messed up week 1. I think for the most part, he did well there. It's been tough, and Chicago's a tough football town, but hopefully they can keep doing this and keep everybody off them a little bit.
We're going to take one more break. The Russell Wilson era is over in New York with the Giants, if there even was one. We're talking Jaxson Dart when we return.
The G-Man.
All right, the Giants, they're starting Jaxson Dart on Sunday against the Chargers.
Woohoo!
Yep, here we go. The Russell Wilson era after 3 weeks. Brian Dable saw enough. I think my instant reaction or question for you, Chris, is this the excitement about Jaxson Dart, or did Brian Dable have one desperate button to push and he felt like he had to push it right now?
I think there's that. I think there is excitement about Jaxson Dart.
The summer it was very obvious how
definitely right. And honestly, I think if their team was better around him with how he did in the summer and everything there, they probably would have started him right away. But I think the question is, and we've talked about this, and I think anybody with any football mind, I see Giants fans saying this on my social media and stuff too, is the team good enough to help them out right now? And I understand. There's a worry, right? I get it. I've been saying that. This is where I hate social media because people see a clip and I'm going to be like, can you watch our shows so you can hear the conversations a little bit instead of just reading one quote I said on Instagram, right? Yeah, that's a worry. I get it. I totally understand that. But, I think they're desperate as a football team. Week 1 was a disaster. Week 3 was a disaster. Week 2 was okay. Yeah, because we just talked about the Bears, the Cowboys defense is not very good.
Right.
And they played man-to-man or left their guys in single safety zones or whatever that ended up like man-to-man, and that benefits Russell Wilson. I don't think Russell Wilson can run an offense. I just said that to you before we came back from commercial.
I asked you, I'm like, would somebody trade for Russ?
Yeah.
And you were like, well, if he can't run an offense, what's the point?
What's the point. And I don't think anybody wants to bring Russell Wilson as a backup. That's not a thing because it's a pain too. You got to deal with all of the stuff around it, and he's not exactly Mr. Locker Room cool guy that way.
Right.
So yeah, between that, right, Russell is not capable of being surgical. He's not capable of just boom, boom, boom. Hey, we went on a 12-play drive where I was 7 for 8 with like really intricate, detailed throws and reading the coverage. No, Russ is just like we saw in the Cowboy game. I hope somebody's man-to-man downfield and I can just throw it up. And it wasn't man-to-man on Sunday night with the Chiefs because they were like, that's the only thing he can do. Let's play zone. And there he was like, I don't know what else to do. Let me just throw it up. Oh, intercepted. Oh, intercepted. Right? Never really having the offense going in a direction you want. So that's why they're going to go to Jaxson Dart.
What changes in the offense right away?
And here's the golden thing here, right? Because it's the Chargers. And you know I got a man crush on the Chargers. It's going to be brutal. This is where it's tough because, yeah, the Chargers in the back end have some of the coolest, well-coached coverages you're going to find in football. So that was where I was like, maybe week 5, New Orleans Saints is when you put Jaxson Dart in. But I think the Giants are looking at it going, against this team, we need people to read coverage. We need to be able to dissect people over the middle of the field and throw 7- and 8-yard completions over there into tight windows, into zones. And you know who's the best at doing that? Jaxson Dart. He's better than Russell Wilson doing that. So that's where you feel good. I feel good. It's his first start, so that's tough, right? And it's never easy, week 4, making your first start against a really good Chargers team. But ultimately think they're going to have more available in their offense with Jaxson Dart, especially in the drop-back passing game, than they will with Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson handcuffs people. He handcuffed Sean Payton. He handcuffed Arthur Smith. And here he handcuffed Brian Daboll to be like, I guess if we just don't get the ball one-on-one outside, we can't do anything else. So forget the rest of my offense. Now he can run their full offense with Jaxson Dart. It's just his first game, and it's going to be tough.
And it is going to be tough, but I also think there's going to be some kind of jolt maybe.
I agree there too.
Like this feels like a defense that 2 out of the 3 games they're probably looking on the field and they're like, "Can we? Well, if we make a mistake, we're in trouble. We're in a lot of trouble today."
The defense played good enough last week for them to stay and win in that game. I mean, it's just if they had an offense that could work the right way. The other thing I'll say, and hopefully Andrew Thomas can play more again this week instead of just the first half, right? Maybe the other advantage is, Jaxson Dart can read the coverages and be a little more surgical and execute more of a complete offense. And also the other, just to say, silver lining food for thought here is the Chargers pass rush is not like it's not like the steel curtain or anything like that.
Mack anymore.
Exactly. So maybe that's where they look at it and go, hey, he could have time to throw here, and we need somebody that can read the coverage, let alone our fan base is ready to jump off the Empire State Building. And it's pitiful being a Giant fan right now, where I think all of that, and like you just said, gives us a little bit of a jolt and something to look for the future. And right now, give the defense some hope and everybody, like you said. And I hope that happens for the G-men.
Hopefully for Jaxson Dart, build his confidence, not only against the Chargers, but the Saints the following week, because then it's Eagles, Broncos, Eagles. So
the Giants it's a brutal schedule.
There's no soft landing.
But let's get it going. Right. It's not going to be smooth all the time, but I think the Giant fans want to see the guy that we think's going to be the franchise, and it's time to go. Yeah, we're going to hit a few bumps in the road. Okay, we expect that. So what? Let's get him going now. It's only going to make him better later in the year. It's only going to make him better next year when he is the starting quarterback. You know me, Connor. I'm always one that's in favor of the guy playing over the guy sitting on the bench. There's no better experience. Practice, you can say all you want. Show he's good in practice. He's good in practice. Is he good with the first time he has to drop back and there's people that are actually trying to rip his head off and the crowd's going crazy? And there's nothing that you can replicate in practice that does that game type of stuff there, and that's where you see real growth for a player.
One note before we sign off, Russell Wilson will be the backup. Jameis Winston remains the number 3.
Yeah.
So take that.
Well, they're not, there's probably a little pride in that too, right? Of like, oh, well, we can't make it look too, like, if we make them 3, it makes us look like, what the hell were we doing making them the starter, right? So you got to think of that too. The politics of the sport a little bit, I think, play into that conversation as well.
All right, man. That's
We did
another
it?
one in the. We did it, but we don't go anywhere.
Nah, we'll be back in the same clothes. We don't change for this one, all right? I hope everybody enjoyed that. That was the Tuesday pod. Little look back, little look forward. We got it all. Tomorrow, Wednesday, another pod, right? We got Browns film. I got a man crush on the Browns D. Michael Penix, woof. It wasn't very good. And we'll look ahead to week 4 on the Wednesday pod. Peace out, homies. Connor Rogers, you the man. We'll see you. Peace out. Yo, homies, it's time to watch some games. That's right. We're on to the NFL season here with Chris Simms Unbuttoned.
Hit subscribe to get our weekly picks, Sunday night recaps after every game, and much, much more.
Thanks for watching. Peace out, homies. Remember, subscribe. Peace out.